There we go. Okay. Yes, there's the link in the chat. Well, thanks everyone for joining us this evening. I'm very pleased to be hosting Jana van Niekerk as our featured poet this week. And first I'm going to read a little bio, and then I'm going to read a poem that I think speaks to Jana's work from what I have read of Jana's. So in brief, Jana van Niekerk was first published in high school, where she won a national prize for the best creative essay in her matric exam. And she went on to study English, drama and psychology in both Cape Town and London, and holds a doctorate. Her poems and short stories can be found in the chat, for example, and also Sentinel Literary Quarterly, New Contrast, Stanzas, New Coin, Aerodrome and Kotaz, and in collections such as One Life, The Garden of the Beloved, and For the Duration, which is in the chat. She's released children's books and romance novellas under different names, and her first novel, a work of creative non-fiction, is in press. So that's exciting. And the poem that I thought would speak well to your work is a favorite E.E. Cummings poem called Since Feeling is First. Since feeling is first, who pays any attention to the syntax of things will never wholly kiss you, wholly to be a fool while spring is in the world. My blood approves, and kisses are a better fate than wisdom. Lady, I swear by all flowers. Don't cry. The best gesture of my brain is less than your eyelids' flutter, which says, we are for each other. Then laugh, leaning back in my arms, for life's not a paragraph, and death, I think, is no parenthesis. Jana, over to you.
Thank you so much, Claire, for that intro. I really love that. And as you will see, it's very apt for what I will be reading tonight. And thank you all for the opportunity to be here and to share poems with each other. So much indeed depends on a red wheelbarrow. I have read poetry over the years at Off the Wall, Kalk Bay Books, and in McGregor at the festival. And what you'll hear tonight is a sampling of a future collection of love poetry. And I mean love in its broadest sense and its many guises, including death, the natural world, and domestic trivia. Sandwich. This mouse and I shared some bread. It was good. I did not mind that his mouse lips had been where mine are now. His mouse teeth tearing away the soft ciabatta cliffs. In fact, I barely noticed the indent in the loaf, his kamikaze ways, his little life. He might have been the baker's thumb, an air bubble, a burp in the dough, an illusion. Except I saw the way where he had gnawed the wall to get in, squeezed his soft body into impossibly narrow cracks, flattening himself like this very slice, wondering why I was so furious not to share the joy of my kitchen, his fuzzy whiskers imprinted in the butter, his breath. $300. One more dance. One more dance on the bridal beach of broken glass. Once more into my small breached heart, the carnage of Dunkirk. Once more the kiss of never enough, my love. If you are the sailor, then I am the soldier, my legs unsteady from the voyage, consulting the oracle who spoke against me and failing to meditate. I fought on this beach to live. what could you do? You blew on my wounds, you used your words manfully, you kept dancing. That poem reflects on my experience of finding love through a conscious dance practice at an advanced age, following horrific heartbreak and a lengthy period of celibacy, as does the next. I told you I wanted Brad Pitt to pop my cherry. You said you would stand in till he arrived. I told you I was no Thelma and Louise hell-bent on destruction. You said this car can fly. I told you only half the story, a third, less, because it didn't seem to matter. You listened, so I didn't have to speak. When I told you the really big things I had to show you, you said, I want to hear it all. You used my name, but used is not the right word. What I didn't tell you is, I want you. So you started singing it instead. I made you, but not. What I can't tell you is not silent, but invisible, sparkling and unwitting like Brad, to be sure, but poignant like he never was. Thelma only knows. Love is all very well, but it doesn't substitute for the healing of our wounds, which inevitably do come up in any relationship. Handiwork. In a terrible place, I did some praying. Bear Crow came to me. They said, use your hands to make things. At times, it's everything. I did some mending. I felt your spirit, your loyalty in word and deed. I did some drawing. This creatura, a guardian, said, you please me, I am listening to the language of your heart. How do I speak hard things softly, I asked, when I look good, but I am not? I did some writing. I said, I do respect the things your hands have made. I will come to you clean with straight eyes. It answered, our vision is one. We walk the same river, crying, you are good as an entire forest. So we must celebrate the holy as it arrives on the wings of romance. This next poem is called Your Heart is a Glassless Window. Your heart is a glassless window. Forgive me for seeing the sky. I am in, blinded by you, looking in the wrong place like corners in case I was hiding. Flown into the house. I did see you standing there, not needing me. I wondered. One moment communing, then stretching arms out and laughing like the dead. I can't explain, just friendship. Like Assisi, you knew what that was, never having received it. And so I proposed love, or something that pedestrian. and we had to move the sea to turn scared into the other. And I wondered, who would have the temerity to suggest a sparrow should not take to the sky, not fly? I did it backwards, a body slam, falling. And yes, it hurt. You could not capture it. I did see you standing there. I wondered. Let's glut ourselves on a bit more passion. Primavera. In the first flush of winter, -75 degrees in the style of springtime, it's as if we've changed bodies into something more fluid, warm, and soft. Stuck back to back, the air is cold outside, but sleep has made you hot. Nightly, I lay wedged naked against your love, dripping with sunset, drenched in stars, smarting on this medicine walk, we turn to face each other. Already we are hallowed just by looking. Past lives. It's all coming back to me now. I remember running, you tearing me down in the woods, apprehending my scent with your fingers and your tongue. And I wanted to ask you this morning, what was it like to find the evidence of us on your thighs, the present a whole other country compared to how we've lived? Lion. I like your teeth, they never hurt. Too late on a Sunday morning, or early enough at night, your head is on my breast, the shape of you becoming clear. We steer straight into surrender. All my words obsolete in this hot mouth, passé. This is a first for me. You've heard it 50 times before, here in my 51st year, as you are the first, my younger tutor. First kiss, first love, first time, thirsty. Some months ago, a naked woman crouching on a bull asked for you in a cornfield. The universe added oil and gave me jumping jack. Now my whole house smells of you, coconut in the hacienda. Inappropriate and unmentionable, this business of being a well-loved woman. It's beyond all faith. And yet, here is the meaning of hallelujah. Slaked. Read fast. This page is burning in fire and ice, my friend, and the warm winds turning. I nuzzle you, the sweet sleep scent of your shoulders, your hand covering my face. Yes, bite me hard into transformation. Take my skin off. I can't really talk about life without including a poem about the birth of my son, written 14 years ago. The Night Feeder. Sunshine. Bees are ancients, every leg hair on my body tells me so, but they know nothing of love, I can see that now. You fine suckling flower, your breath of cocaine and delicious violets, satin velvet cashmere and blue womb eyes baby pod, you came running out of me and pulled me closer like a lollipop. Your humorous diamond sky, lopsided smile, lake-like, the warmth from your body, ambient angel breath, you fill me like apples. We do the walk of love. Child in the garden, ancient, wonderful, damply lipping me as Van Gogh sails by. I hear your breathing, it is the sound of whales. You beautiful breakfast baby, pickled foot and bottom, you cough that bathwater out like sea. Picked by a cavalry of angels, this lily that grew in the field in aching delicacy. But I did, and they were softer than I thought. Sometimes love and writing are so inexplicably bound up that this is what comes out. Encounter. Just look at the color on these, intense. I climb right into the cave of you. How wonderful to be so totally without words. In my dream, yellow. In the morning, these leaves rustle like skirts, and wagging joyously, I find my tongue. And yet there is the temptation to let life make us cynical. I find God, going outdoors, always saves me. Pilgrim. All I'm left with is my bitterness and nature. And oh, how she receives me. I can be grateful for the bark on these limbs peeling off like paper, the glossy popping of the colors, dismantling the birds sweeping through our valley. These birds like dust motes shot from cannons down tracks in the air. Today the ocean is like liquid gold, not my plaything. Millennia of water swallow us. This mountain will be an island with new vistas. Adonai, Adonai, I went out into the forest and realized I am fine. This is not my last summer, but when it is, bury me in scallop shells, leave my shoes behind. On that note, let's now transition gently to some death poetry. Grief. Jesus pulls up in his folksy. He knows that you can die of grief. Go insane from it, vomit. It's not like in the movies. He knows what cold water does for grieving people, what mothers do, janitors who comfort and nurses who thankfully won't reveal too much, except their eyes speak. My best work. The hospital notes that say, wife sitting at the bedside, wife sitting at the bedside, on and on and on, this orderly mess, pages and pages and pages of it. Heart skips a beat. He is traveling, elemental, that there are no words. He knows about every calm, level thing you ever taught me, how steady love is, that I want to die because I have no choice, how I needed to be met in the raw, open cut, how I am waiting for you. It is cold and I trust everything. He looks at me through the roomy slit window, your great spirit tossed between worlds, the winds in his hair, he would have hated the draft. A current of cool air in a room or other confined space. I need to speak. We are transmuting tonight, and you will transform your grief. Swim out. Write your magnum opus, he says. Just surrender. It is done. How many times can you bury a man? Every year we tear our clothes. Oh, it's all over. Meantime, the bees are drunk on pollen. He blooms in an orchard. Betrothed. On the anniversary of your death, I'm not good with anniversaries. Nor were you, never quite meeting the expectations of silver year, gold, nickel, or whatever it was. I was married the day before your birthday, which meant chocolate cake at the wedding breakfast, inhales the tremor of a baby's breath bouquet. Watching the clock to relive your death at 2:25, I know it's a return, not a departure, and you were always timeous or said, renegotiate if you need to. Well, I can't negotiate this. My mother going back to ICU, sitting at the same window, asking on the phone, why do they say go through to get over when it never goes away and I am changed every day? They say grief heals. They say show yourself so others can find you and give you their love. But I am still struggling down here, Dad, reaching anniversaries badly or by means of divorce, not at all. Speaking badly for a therapist, listening badly and running. And in some ways you called it off too, your romance, and in some ways it killed you. After the event, when there is no more deadline, like Eurydice, I might say, looking back, you made me laugh. Thank you for your gift of me. When it comes to matrimony, it turns out I was every bit as fearless and late as you are now. I had to put the following poem in because it kind of sums up my whole life. It was inspired by Felix Baumgartner. He became the world's first supersonic skydiver in 2012, free-falling from outer space. Jump. Here I still am in the hot and dusty air. No jump could ever release me. I am still earthbound, still opening my eyes to the doors, still seeing immortal worlds, stars, and your sun still threatens to circumvent me. Not stepping backwards, tearing ice, nor bubbling on the shore. They sent a man to fetch me, to say, we have the helium and we're here. This one also, for me, captures some of the journey. Ant nest. They thought they were underground, but they were in my soft furnishings. All sorts of wildlife has been in here. Scurrying for cover out of the sun with their eggs. When I lifted the blanket and hung it up, whoa, it must have been like the Titanic for them. And how do I sweep here when every step maims a little one? Thoughts like this make driving impossible. I mean, I park on the lawn. Imagine the death rate. So I left the brooms, the buckets, for a while, unended, just giving them time to regroup. Their whole lives have been upended, teaching me solipsistically that I'm a natural disaster. But all is not lost. This poem is for Miranda, whose birth date is today. The Fox. The fox needed me to have the kind of courage I did not. He lay curled up with his tail around my hips, warming his nose at the crescent moon in my belly, till those russet rays became a sunrise of action, a satin staircase up my blue throat, in which I cared more about poetry than pain. And when I opened the door in the forehead of my wall, pink light wept in, apparently because I was well asleep by then. And when the top of my head flew off in a burst of golden eagles, I heard about it later, being a little busy at the time with the bull of obstinance and my bite of truth. If I could lie tucked like that fox, my ovaries strumming a tune, knowing I had done important work today, but I am quaking, putting on a brave face, trying to stay my heart of jade, and the only way I can let fall is by going, accept, surrender. Thank you. I tell the angels I am so alone right now. I know nothing. They say we are with you even as you rise from this bed. I'm going to end off with 3 poems now. Spring season. On the most romantic day of the year, you tell me I'm your best friend and you are in love with me. It's been 2 years, almost 3, and I know I have been less than perfect. There is a sweetness to September. August is often so rough and stormy. When we first meet, there is recognition, like a cascade of nasturtiums, a waterfall of flowers, but this is not the wave we'll ride to shore. It can't. Sailing allied to the wind, we have a delta wing. With your words, you cover yourself in glory again for me, like that owl who dozed all the warm day in our eaves and never flies too close to the sun. Dove. The lover who loved me gave me this, a field full of crystals in which to write poetry. But I never looked. The lover who loved me gave me this by staying small and still, an eagle catching a dove. The lover who loved me gave me this rooster crowing sunshine on my back. The lover who loved me gave me this pigeon heart and glass from sand. And there's the ocean. God doesn't stand on ceremony. Simmering away like beans, this world is too small for us, my darling, like oil. My delicious friend, we enter into God every day, like a lover, like a newborn, sometimes slowly, sometimes fast, like a paper to flame, sometimes remembering we have not, and then keep me for this moment, another little now, like smoke, like wax, like steam. Looking up, God enters us, overcome. Thank you so much. And to the wonderful Red Wheelbarrow event organizers, you've all been absolutely fantastic and so kind. And if you have enjoyed these poems, my joint collection with Rosamund Handler is on the Botsotso website at 220 ront, and I've put the link in the comments.
Wow, Jana, thank you so much. I absolutely loved that. My mouth is sort of sore from smiling for so long. It was just, yeah, it was fantastic. I kept on trying to write down bits and pieces. One of the earlier ones said something like clean with straight eyes. I liked that. Yeah, that was great. The directness of it. Also, to start a love poem with "I like your teeth." What an opener! What an opener! Yeah, I mean, there were so many things I've written, all sorts of stuff, but I think do other people have questions or comments while I sort of gather myself? Ed?
I think we're all gathering ourselves, actually.
Mm.
Jana, I
And
love the way you bring in the unexpected in your imagery, and there's every poem has got this feeling of not sure what's coming next, because it's and has it been like that for you with writing them as well? It is just
Yeah.
it just yeah, just that quality is it's surreal original. It's just that there's so much. The poems are very layered in the turns that they take, in what they bring in, what they allude to. um yeah, I don't know if you want to engage with any of that.
Yes, I'm absolutely always surprised when I'm writing about what arises. Perhaps some of you can identify with that there's not a lot of planning that goes on. that's also with writing prose and even dialogue, you know, characters saying things that you were not expecting and that make you laugh and things like that. And I think that's the joy of writing. And lines surprising us as well when we're driving or in the shower or in dreams and needing to grab a pen and get it down and not knowing where this is going. And eventually there's a poem that you can kind of hear. It's like music, I suppose, hearing a tune.
And I also noticed that I think 2 or 3 of the poems had the word surrender.
Yes.
Yeah, and it does feel like you just surrender to what comes through you. Yeah.
I try to on a good day. I think we're always trying to put our minds, get out of our own way and maybe put our minds away. But it's a bit of a balance, isn't it, between working with the heart and the ear, and I suppose the intellect to a degree as well. Yeah, but surrender, I mean, surrender is that, it's that life task, I think. So if we can practice it in our writing, that helps us maybe to live better, I think.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And Jacques, I see you've got your hand up as well.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you can hear me.
I can.
Oh, good. I I want to. I also want to riff on surrender. I absolutely loved your reading.
Thank you.
And the moment that made me, maybe the moment that made me smile the most was the character, the moment when the voice says to you, write your magnum opus, just surrender. And I think it's just surrender. And it's that paradox, isn't it? That surrender is the hardest work we can do sometimes. But I wonder, yeah, if you want to say something about that continuum of, I'm at a loss for words. I think writing is so strangely sort of poised between surrender and hard work, because your poems feel, they feel effortless. They feel as if they come to you in a moment. But it's also work. I don't know if there's anything more you want to say. It's come out more as a comment than as a question.
I really like that, because that is always the balance, isn't it, between the receiving and the work, the turning up, and the quiet commitment to, I am doing this, even if it doesn't seem very important or serious to anybody else. It's kind of meaningful to me. And it's interesting, Jacques, because that poem that you cite there is Grief, and it is a poem I wrote about my father's death, and I'd like to honor him tonight as well. And when he was in the hospital, just before he went into ICU, he said to me, you must write your magnum opus. And that has kind of haunted me, because that sounds like a huge job, and I'm not sure I'm up for it. And I don't know what that would look like, but I do surrender to writing. I know that I can't cut that off. I surrender to allowing it to happen. And let's see what happens.
Yes. Yes. And you show up, and they're fearless and wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. They're full of fear, actually, but okay.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
Full of fear, but also catching yourself. I mean, and the humor of, I park on the lawn and imagine the death rate. I love that. Yeah.
But you
I
know,
also
really,
want
Claire, yes, yes.
you go.
That is the inside of my head, you know, and literally,
Absolutely. It's true.
I'm so glad that you can relate, because sometimes I write down exactly what I'm thinking, and then I go, can I call this a poem? Because that's exactly what happened and exactly what I thought, and now I'm selling this as something I created, you know. But I do like writing about the critters.
And you do it so well.
Thank
Kiara, I
you.
see your hand as well.
Yeah, just thank you, Jana, for being so present in this world that we live in. Your perspective is gorgeous, to say the least. I'm also kind of dumbfounded, as everybody is. But yeah, it's like, to go on that note of parking on the lawn and all the death rate, it's such a microscopic point, and I feel like you make those points quite often, not just literally, but figuratively, with the glass on the beach. It's so, it like my vision zooms in on something, and I think it's so gorgeous, and I just thank you for being here and for doing what you're doing. And then I kind of have a question, but I don't know if it's a question, but I did notice that you used Spanish, not really many times, but once or twice. I think when you said hacienda, I don't know if it's English or if that was Spanish, and then also primavera, which is spring. Does Spanish inspire you?
That's very interesting. And thank you for the beautiful things that you said. Oh, my goodness, who knows where these things come from? If I have to be totally honest, I usually look it up afterwards. Like the word primavera popped into my head, and when I looked it up and I saw, okay, it's related to spring. Originally I thought it was like an art technique, but I thought, no, this fits. And so I think there's a lot of unconscious stuff. And hacienda is just part of my romantic idea about, heat and straw and oil and away from here, absolute elsewhere. So I'm going with that.
Same.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's amazing. Like I said in the beginning of the video, the call, that I come to this meeting to get a piece of home, and then it was really nice to get a piece of not home, because I have to learn Spanish right now. So it was like home with something that's part of me now.
Oh, but I love that
Amazing.
synchronicity.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
thank you.
And I also wanted to ask, how did you, when you're speaking about balancing the ear and the heart, and is it like you get a line in your head? Because it also feels quite visual. How do things arrive? I'm imagining there's more than one way.
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes it's quite embarrassing, because I'll be in an intimate moment and I'll have to say afterwards, excuse me, I just have to make a note. Sometimes it's like that. And sometimes I'll be on a walk and I'll have to carry a notebook, because invariably I want to write something down. And very often somebody will say something and I'll hear, no, that's definitely a line. And I make myself write it down. So my best lines are stolen, I promise you, from things that people have said that just sound really good. And sometimes there'll be a few good lines on a piece of paper, and I'll look at it like a puzzle and think, maybe this can go together and say something. I don't know.
That's
It's quite
fascinating.
random. Yeah, as well.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Ed.
It's interesting, thanks, Claire, that you mentioned puzzle, because it does feel like many of the poems have elements of piecing together, and the reader has to listen carefully and sort of work, or travel with the meaning, even if it's slippery, moves in a different direction. I also wanted to say I really appreciate the way you bring in the creaturely and the erotic. Creaturely, is that a word? The wild, wild animals and the wild in us, and yeah.
Yes, very important. And I hope it's accessible, because when I started writing long time ago, I think in my early 20s, I used to hide behind obscurity. And I'm learning to be more straight about what I want to say and just to put it out there, because I don't want the reader to be confused. Yeah, so I hope you can follow. Yeah,
I think I would enjoy spending time with some of the poems on the page as well, because I do feel there are things that I've missed here and there, but you also, your endings are usually very strong and tie a lot of things together. So you can kind of go back, you can, it feels to me that you can, yeah, or you can just dive in somewhere, but you definitely have a conclusion and something that resonates and makes one want to go back to what's come before.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like a dramatic finish.
Okay, so,
generally.
yeah, no, the endings are strong and yeah, I like the surreal and the cryptic things. Everything doesn't have to be spelled out, and reader, listener, to challenge your listener. Things don't have to be, in my mind, explained, and yeah, to the degree that then it's not poetry anymore. Then why bother? Yeah.
Yes, good point.
And I actually also wanted to say I sort of disagree with you on the surreal thing, because I think it's so real. The thing of you hear things exactly as they arrive, and life is that thing where you don't know what's going to happen and then something else arrives. I find that so lifelike, even though I know what you're saying with surreal, but I enjoyed how sort of realistic it was.
Yeah.
And isn't that life? We're so grounded in the mundane, the material, the solid, and at the same time there's this mystery running through everything, and sometimes one is more powerful and sometimes the other one is in charge. It's quite a ride.
It gives the poems an immediacy as well, the sort of speed with which things arrive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Thank you.
I feel like we could all chat about this for a long time more, which we may still do, but I wonder if we shouldn't have a 5-minute break and then come back afterwards once we've had time to regather and maybe read some more. Is that all right with everyone? Okay, cool. Then we'll see you at 8:28-ish. Thanks. And thanks again, Jana. I mean, just thank you so much. It's made my day, made my week.
So glad. My pleasure.